Welcome back, friends, to another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Lids87 here, and today I am bringing you another Are They Worth It video where I go over pros and cons about said characters to see if they are truly worth your precious tickets and or gems. Before I get into it though, friends, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Alright, now on May 28th, we are getting the raid event Sanctuary Keeper. We are going to be getting returning costumes for Lenna and Ace, and speaking of Lenna and Seifer are getting their EX pluses. So Lenna's EX weapon is returning. This is the very first time we are getting Seifer's EX weapon, and I don't know what that thing is in the corner, in the upper right hand corner. What is that? Not good, not meta. So don't even worry about Fang. Now the very first character we are going to be talking about is Seifer. So Seifer, he is a great ranged AoE unit. All of his abilities have AoE brave attacks with HP attacks and some splash or 50% damage to the other enemies. And that's going to be very nice, especially in controlling, if there's like multiple enemies, multiple bosses. It's going to be really great in controlling the enemy's brave because you can hit everything on the field, which is very nice. Now his skill 1 and skill 2 grant him Sorceress's Knight, and what this does is this increases his attack and max rate by 40%, and this will also increase his debuff evasion rate, which is pretty nice. He's just going to be evading buffs. Not as often, but it's going to be nice. Now, the only one downside, I don't know if it's at 40% also. I was trying to decipher what I was reading, but so if it is 40%, let me know down below in the comments. So I'm not sure the percentages on that, but that's okay because Lenna will fix that. So another thing about Seifer is that he does more damage to debuffed targets, so he's going to be hitting harder. Now, in order to do that, Seifer actually does have 4 debuffs built into his kit: attack, max brave down, defense down with his additional ability, and Scars of Destruction. Now, what is Scars of Destruction? Scars of Destruction is a framed debuff that he applies with his EX ability, and what this does is this reduces the enemy's speed, and this will also reduce the amount of brave they steal. It's going to be reduced to 0, so it's almost like a Setzer freeze. Keep in mind though, any form of brave regen or brave heal, the enemy can still get that. It's only when they hit you, when the brave damage, that is reduced to 0 for 1 turn. Now his non-realized or base EX at 2 out of 3, he gets a unique buff called Young Revolutionary. Now what this does is it also increases his attack by 20%, 10% per debuff target brave damage up, and this will also extend duration of when granting buffs by 2 actions. So the main thing to take away from this buff is that 10% per debuff on the target. Okay, so every debuff that the enemy has, Seifer is going to be doing 10% more brave damage to that specific target. So if an enemy has 3 debuffs on him, 30% extra brave damage. 4 debuffs on him, 40% extra brave damage, up to 60% extra brave damage for the 6 total slots of buffs or debuffs that an enemy can have. So this can really stacks up nicely, especially that he's already doing increased damage to debuff targets. With this on top of it, this guy's going to be hitting really hard. Now, some cons with Seifer is, for some reason, his skill 1, there's wind element attached to it. So if an enemy does resist wind, you can't use his first skill. That's it. You just can't use it. But I mean, how often does that happen, right? But if an enemy is weak to wind, Seifer is going to be hitting just that much harder. And another con about Seifer is that you will need some other form of debuffer to take advantage of his 10% extra brave damage per debuff on the target, because like looking at his debuffs, okay, 2 of them you're going to have a majority of the time, okay? Attack and max brave down. Scars of Destruction, it's only for 1 turn. And his additional ability, you only have a few uses of that, so you just don't want to be spamming that. So at least you're going to have 2 debuffs on the enemy, so that's 20% extra damage to that one specific target. So if you pair him up with another unit that has other debuffs or other framed debuffs, Seifer is going to be hitting harder. You can pair him up with Fran, she imperils range Seifer. He's all range, so he will benefit the most by having Fran on the team. So just keep that in mind, friends, is that try to pair him with another debuffer to take advantage of his extra debuff damage. Now, EX plus recommendations. Now, if you're hurting for ingots, at least 1 out of 3 for this guy. Why? Because the extra attack and max brave that he gets from 1 out of 3, you always want that on DPS or attacking units. You always want that on attackers. So the more attack and max brave they have, the more damage they're going to dish out in total. And truthfully, he's already hitting hard. So with his Young Revolutionary, buff from his EX ability, and the fact that he himself can also deal more damage to debuff targets, he's already dishing out that much more damage, so he should be doing okay at 1 out of 3. Now, if you're thinking about investing in him, if you're liking Seifer, if you're liking his kit, and be like, hey Liz, I want to invest a little bit more, all the way, taking the 3 out of 3. Because at EX plus 2 out of 3, the main thing there is that his gauge fills to the max. So right off of the bat, you can use his EX ability and literally just shit on that first wave, so to say. At EX plus 3 out of 3, his EX ability becomes a 5-hit AoE range brave attack plus single target HP attack triggered twice, which DPSs need. The attackers need this. And that's when he also gains access to his HP attack plus plus and brave attack plus plus. So again, friends, hurting for ingots, 1 out of 3. Thinking about investing in him, 3 out of 3. So now we're going to talk about the next unit on this banner, and it's going to be Lenna. So her skill 2 grants a party-wide buff called Winddrake's Ward. What this does is it gives the party brave and HP regen, and this will also increase their debuff evasion up to 100%. So if you're going up against enemies that have some really nasty debuffs, it's not a thing with Lenna. You have to make sure that this buff up is on them first. It doesn't remove debuffs, it only helps you evade them 100%. You will not get debuffed. Now, if you do happen to take her EX plus all the way up to 3 out of 3, she can then start healing the party with her EX ability, which is nice. Lenna also has the highest int brave down debuff, being at 90%. So what that means is that you're going to be breaking the enemies more often. They're going to be coming out of that break status much sooner. With Lenna's EX weapon, she does get a self buff. Keep in mind, self buff, not party-wide buff. It's a self buff that affects the party called Princess of Tycoon. Now what this does is this will grant the party 40% int brave and brave regen 40% of int brave. So stack this brave regen with the Winddrake's brave regen, and you're going to be getting a lot of brave back. Now with this party-wide 40% int brave, now take C68, she also grants the party 10% int brave and 10% to attack. So she is giving the party 50% up to int brave. It's not the highest. There are other units that give higher int brave, but it's a decent amount. It's something. So some units, for example, like Warrior Light, could take advantage of this, stronger shields. And with her C58, she will grant the party plus 40% to attack and max brave while she is buffed. So with her C68, that's 50% up to attack, which is a good amount. Now, some of the cons about Lenna is that her rapid fire brave hits, which is her skill 1, and that's what she applies the int brave down debuff with. Her brave hits are random. So the way it works is with rapid fire, every single brave hit inflicts a certain amount of int brave down, totaling up to a total of 90%, and the brave hits are random. So if there are multiple bosses, there could be a chance that RNG doesn't really hit one of them. It hits one more than the other. So one boss could have a little bit more int brave down debuff, a higher potency compared to the other one. Another con about her is she's not an attacker, but pair her up with attack buffers, enhancers, or even Fran. Again, Lenna is ranged, and Fran has range resist down, which is going to help out Lenna's damage. Pair her up with some form of elemental enhancer and impaler, because she does have a lot of brave hits with her rapid fire, so she could definitely take advantage of that. And if you're not really good at managing buffs, then this next thing could be a con. So Lenna gives herself up to 4 buffs: attack, max brave, Princess of Tycoon, and Winddrake's Ward. So if you start applying a lot of buffs onto her, she's going to start pushing buffs off. So just be careful with that when you're putting your teams together. Alright, so for Lenna, EX plus, if you are hurting for ingots, 0 out of 3. Mainly, you're using her for her buffs and debuffs. You're using her for that 100% debuff evasion, and you're using her for her 90% int brave down to the enemy. You're using her for brave regen, HP healing, and the brave battery. But if you're thinking about investing in her, if you like what she does, and if you need a good support, at least EX plus 2 out of 3. Because at EX plus 2 out of 3, Princess of Tycoon gets an increase to Stolen Max Brave Overflow to the party. Also at 2 out of 3, when the quest starts, she almost gets all of her buffs. She gets her Max Brave up, Attack up, and Princess of Tycoon. Also for the first turn, when she first goes, she does not consume an ability use, no action delay, does not increase turn count. So it's a free turn with a free ability use. You can start using her Windrake Arrow, her second ability, to start mastering it to get it to its upgraded version and give your party that Windrake Ward to give them 100% debuff evasion right off of the bat. Also, at 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 is loaded, guys. Princess of Tycoon, it gets +4 to additional turns, so it's just lasting that much longer. Now, if you do feel that Lenna does need a little bit more healing, then give her that extra ingot. She's almost at 3 out of 3. Might as well, because at 3 out of 3, her EX ability heals party HP based on HP damage dealt up to 20% of max HP. And she also gets access to her HP attack plus, which will raise Brave based on HP damage dealt. Alright friends, so now we're at that part of the video. Are they worth it? Are they truly worth your precious tickets and or gems? Tickets, it depends. Gems, really depends on your roster. So we're at that point of the game. We're at that stage, so to say, where guys, the LD and Burst era, it's almost here. It's legit like 2 months away, give or take. You really have to start asking yourselves, what do I need for my roster? Do I have good supports? Do I have a good attacker? If you don't, this is a good banner to go on. This is a really good ranged banner. Both of these units are ranged. So if you're lacking on ranged units, a ranged attacker, ranged support, throw tickets, throw some gems. Are they pity worthy? Yes, they're good units. Lenna, debuff evasion, HP regen, brave regen. Did I mention debuff evasion? 100% debuff evasion. It's very good. Int brave down to the enemies, 50% int brave to the party. Seifer, on the other hand, does more damage to debuffed targets, up to a total of 60% extra brave damage to debuffed targets with his young revolutionary buff from his EX ability. So Seifer is going to hit hard. Lenna is a great support, and as I like to say, you can never have enough supports on your roster. They come in very, very handy. So again, friends, a lot of these banners going forward, they're gonna be good. I'm telling you right now, June, well, I mean, we're at the end of the May, but end of May and June, a lot of players will be using up a lot of their gems just because so many amazing banners. So honestly, look at your roster and ask yourselves if you really need this. If you're newer to the game and you're undecided about this banner, this is a good banner for you to go on because it's an attacker support unit. Very strong units. So if you are undecided, friends, throw some tickets, see what happens. If you are going to go for them and you're asking yourselves, are they pity worthy? Yes, they are. Keep in mind that there is another unit a little bit later in June, Keys, that is my #1 rated pity unit to get before the LD and Burst era. So just keep that in mind as we go forward, friends. But again, if you're going to go on this banner, it's fine. They're both really good units. Now, something a little bit newer that I introduced to my videos is we're going to take a peek into the future for the players that like to look ahead and plan a little bit further ahead, because I'm not going to lie, both of their EX weapons, they're actually on good banners. So the first one we're going to take a look at is Seifer. Now, if you already have Lenna, because with Lenna, it's the second time we're seeing her EX weapon. So if you happen to have it and you're skipping out on Seifer, this banner right here, Kurasame from Final Fantasy Type 0, is another good banner to go on. Actually, Kurasame, I will be making a video about LD weapons like within the first 3 months that you guys should look into or prioritize. And Kurasame is actually a unit that you guys should go for because he kind of works like Charlotta. He gives the party HP damage up, which is just going to help you guys clear out bosses just that much faster, because as we go forward, especially into the next difficulty up, which is Lufenia, that's going to come in very handy. And also keep in mind, during the LD and Burst era, there will be no more off banners. So what you guys see here on this banner, and aside from their 15 and 35 CP weapons, that's all that's going to be on their banner. So no longer will you get Waka's 15 CP ball just randomly. That's all you will get from here. And also, Warrior Light's Burst is on here, although I would recommend not to chase Warrior Light's Burst weapon. His LD will be fine, but we'll get into that in a different video. But if you're going to wait for Seifer, this is a great banner to go on, again, mainly because of Kurasame. Lenna, on the other hand, she is on, oh man, these banners are great. These banners are great. So Lenna is on Bond's LD and Burst weapon debut, and she is also on Furion's LD and Burst weapon debut. Bond, really good character. Oh my gosh, with his LD. So pretty much, long story short, with Bond, uses LD weapon, for the next 3 turns, free ability uses. So you could spam his first or second ability. He does so much damage. Vaughn is actually one of those characters that really doesn't need his burst weapon. There's a few of them that just don't need it. LDs are fine. So if you get away with the LD weapon here, if you decide you want to go after Vaughn, if you want to chase Vaughn's burst weapon and you don't have Lenna, but you could care less for Seifer, then this is perhaps the banner to go on for you. The second banner that she is on with Firion down below. Oh man, I can't tell you how good Firion gets. Gosh damn, so many characters get good, guys. Rip gems, seriously, rip gems. Plan out your pulls, guys. Seriously, plan out your pulls. Firion, healer, LD, uses LD. He counters. He legit counters after using his LD. Every time the enemy does something towards your party, he will counter with brave attacks, HP attack, heal your party in brave regen. Firion becomes such an amazing unit. So if you feel like waiting for Lenna and chasing for her on Firion's banner, if you're a fan of Firion, I can tell you right now, he is an amazing unit. Top tier unit, good healer. So that would be the best spot to go for Lenna. That is it for this video, friends. I want to thank you guys for joining me in my Are They Worth It video series. Be sure to let me know down below in the comments what you guys think about Lenna and or Seifer. Do you already have Lenna? Or do you like Seifer who becomes Beyblade? He spins. I'm not going to lie, I really like Seifer's animations. Me personally, I already have Lenna from when her EX weapon first debuted. I don't know if I want to go for Seifer. I don't think so. He is a good unit. Maybe I might throw some tickets, but my main priority for me is going to be Keys. So, whoa. Dave Finite, thank you for the follow. Sorry, I'm actually recording, but you just subbed to my, or you just followed me on Twitch. I appreciate the follow, friend. But Seifer, I'm not gonna go for Seifer. Lenna, I have. I'll probably wait for Seifer until Firion's LD and or burst banner. All right, friends. So again, let me know down below in the comments your plans. And until next time, friends, good luck and have a good one.